Okay, this is a quick video of servicing a Rayburn Royal 501 twin burner toast racks. Two here, we only ever use one, which has got a dual dial here, which you need to turn off obviously before you start. So turn your dial, whichever dial it is that you use. The C for ours is the cooker one. Yeah, and you have to push this lever into the up position to turn the fuel off. So you basically lift it up and turn that back dial fully anti-clockwise, turn all that off, give it a while, let it finish, and then you undo this part here and disconnect the pipe. Watch that, because a bit of oil comes out when you do that, and you end up with a little pipe sat down here. I put a little bit of cloth around it just to catch any residual oil. You can put something over that to protect it, but nobody else should be going near that, so it should be okay. And then you might want to clean that out, basically. Hoover it just to remove any of the soot and the likes, and you might also find inside there a lot of dust collects. They tend to attract dust, the heat convects it in. Anyway, that's just a sight of what it's like with everything out, and I'm just going to now go and start to dismantle and clean. Okay, so this is the unit taken out now. I've got it out here on the patio. Just take it somewhere where you don't mind getting a bit mucky. This is the pipe connection here. You notice I put some of the tape around to help it have a nice seal. I'll show you that when I put it back together. But also just initially tip this to get any residual oil out of the chamber. Make sure when you take it out of the Rayburn, you see there my finger's a bit wet still. When you take it out of the Rayburn, keep your finger underneath that so it doesn't dribble when you're taking it across the floor. So this is the unit, that's the top. This is the chamber, and there is the base unit with the wicks in, which you can see. I'll move that. They're just very badly burnt in there. It's amazing. I mean, this was on yesterday and it got very hot, but you can see how in some cases it's almost completely disintegrated, but still works. They're really tough old things. So they need to be scraped out. I use a screwdriver just to loosen them up and then decoke them completely. Okay, just first thing here is inside this chamber. You can see there's soot there, so it's worth having a look inside the chamber, which helps to dissipate the heat evenly from the wicks. There's some coke build up inside there as well, so have a look down those to make sure they're all clean and clear as part of the cleaning process. Okay, so I've been working away with a screwdriver, just locking it into here using just a rubber lump hammer. You get it under the wick and work your way along gradually, and then you can loosen the wick and take the wick out, and you can see the sort of state it's in. I mean, still working quite effectively, but you can hear the Rayburn starting to pop a little bit because it's not burning evenly, and that's shown in here where you can see that some of it really is not burning particularly well at all. It's just become overcoat, whereas other bits will be still burning quite well. And this chamber is where all the carbon is. You can see how much I've got out from just loosening that, but there's still a lot more in there to come out. Okay, if you can see down there, there's loads to come out of there, and I will just use the screwdriver to work my way along that and clean it out as best I can without damaging it. The screwdriver's soft enough to be able to do that, but hard enough to be effective. So that's one. and I've got, yeah, 5 more to do. Next stage. Okay, I've just finished cleaning one out completely, and there's the remnants of one, so you get an idea of how much of this stuff you need to clear out. That's quite a bit, and that's come out the one chamber. And if you look inside there now, the light on it, you can probably see, you can actually see the metal. That's what you need to get down to. You need to be able to clearly see the metal at the bottom and scrape off as much as you can from the sides. There's still little bits on the side there, but I'm not overly worried about that. But it is important to try and clean it out as much as you can. The more you get out now, the better it will perform and the longer you'll get with your servicing period. I mean, I usually do it every 6 months, but it might last a little bit longer if you clean it more effectively. So that's one cleaned. So just the way to clean it is to run a screwdriver down. If you've got it facing, as I have, outside, if you've got it facing the light, you can see when you get that down to the bottom. Just be very careful with some of this because it is quite brittle stuff when it comes off, and if you don't wear glasses, it can ping off and go just about anywhere, possibly in your eye, so just protect yourself if you've got some glasses you can wear. As you're just prizing stuff away. Yeah, that one's done now, so I managed to get that one out at the same time as because that bar's out, you've got a bit more leverage to get underneath these sides and start on those. So all cleared out, and you can now see down into there. You can see the metal, you can see the clear hole through there. If you want to be absolutely well, up for the taste of kerosene, you can blow down the tube just to make sure it's absolutely clear. So I'll just blow on that there. Not ideal because it's PTFE tape, but anyway, take that off and do it. Then you cut these wicks, which you can get from a hardware store or agricultural suppliers. They need to be a good enough height to make sure they just sit above, very slightly above, and obviously cut them to the length to sit in the chamber. Put those all in, one in each one, and then obviously put the bar across the middle, and there you have your unit. Those are the old ones. You can see how carbon they are, and that one just fell to pieces. So ready to go now. Put it back together and put it in and light it up. So grab the chamber and put it on. Just put it on to start with, and you can just try and locate it. You start it at the back, pull it forward, get it to locate. You want it to sit down properly on the block. I'm trying to do this with one hand, which is not easy, but bear with me. Well, anyway, you can see that that's not quite sat down properly there. It does need to sit down. I will do it and show you. And now I've managed to do it. I'm sorry I couldn't show you, but it's just a matter of fiddling around. I've only got one hand to do it with, but you can see now that that's sat down really neatly. You can close that down, close that down. It's flat, and it's sat evenly all the way around. And then you put the top piece on, and you see how the legs just sit, and then it's all there and ready to go. Nice and clean, serviced, good for another 6 months. It's now to the Rayburn. So a good thing to do is just to make sure your Rayburn, how it sits, and what its levelness, so to speak. Look in there, you can see the bubble just very, very slightly off. Hardly anything, but that it's a matter of a millimetre or something. But obviously, when you put your burner in, you want to make sure that it's balanced as well. So this is roughly how it's going to sit in the machine. And if you look there, it's pretty much the same. Again, could be a fraction, but that means that when you put it into down in here, it's all balanced. These legs at the bottom are adjustable. And 3 legs, a bit awkward putting it in, but that's what you adjust the levels on to make sure it's sitting right, and the oil sits in it flat and balanced. So I'm just about to put this in here now. You note that in the middle of the chamber there is a hole. So when you first put this in, the back leg, which is just a single leg, can catch in that hole. So you have to keep it lifted, and I use a long screwdriver which I put underneath to give me the balance so that I can keep it upright as I'm putting it in and stop that catching. It's quite a tight fit with the lid on. So just be aware, that's how the leg might catch. Okay, so I've put that in now. You can see it sitting centrally. Check the top's level, hasn't been knocked. Also check the bottom is sitting properly. You can look around the side, but you just need to make sure it's sitting properly. I can see under there that it is, but that it is sitting evenly on that base, so that will help ensure that you get the right airflow. Jiggle it a bit, connect up the pipe, just do it up by hand first, and then okay, so that's finished now. Tightened up with a PTFE tape, tight around to seal it, and down in there all the rags and things cleared out. It's been hoovered out, and it's ready to be lit. And obviously you just need to turn this back on by lifting the lever, pushing down the lever to start it, and then turning the dial at the back round to about halfway. Wait for the oil to seep through, give it a few minutes, and then light it up. Put the door back on, close it up, and then the dial should come round to somewhere around 170 or whatever. And yeah, don't forget to turn it back down after maybe an hour or so, down to just idle, unless you want it up high. If you're getting oil, heating oil, make sure you get the additive that stops it smoking and it burns better, so you get a better temperature in your Rayburn. Okay, that's it. As I said, we only have this one side. We only use the one because that does our water and the Rayburn, and the other one would be for heating if you wanted to, but we've got a different boiler. Okay, hope this has been useful. Good luck with your servicing.